Hey guys, today I'm gonna give you my ranking of Guardians of the Galaxy appearances in the MCU from worst to best. Listen, first of all, let me start off by telling you I'm a little bit biased with the Guardians of the Galaxy. If you guys have been around for a while, you know they're my favorite comic book team, and then I love what James Gunn has done with them on the big screen, and the small screen. So listen, for me, honestly, all of these have their ratings of at least 3.5 out of 5. I'm not going to dive into the ratings. I'm just going to go in order, but there's not, for me, a bad Guardians of the Galaxy appearance. Now, we're going to start with, I guess, the worst appearance of the Guardians of the Galaxy in the MCU, and that would be I Am Groot. And that's, I mean, and listen, it focuses around Groot. They're very cute. They're very quick. We get Rocket in there. We don't really get anybody else. And it was cute. It was fine. But you know, it's not the best, of course, right? It's the worst. I still enjoyed them. They're fine. But it just wasn't anything special, okay? Next, we have What If, where I debated on if this one should even be included because, of course, it's a very different version of the Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, this story talks about when T'Challa, if he was to become Star-Lord instead, which I actually absolutely loved, right? I actually really enjoyed it because I love the What If comics. I think it's fun to switch things up. It's fun to get a different version of the story, you know? One little thing changes and it has a ripple effect, that sort of thing. So I did enjoy this. It just kind of fits there, like, okay, but that's mostly because it's not really the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, it is, but it isn't. So that's where I included that one. Now, we have Thor Love and Thunder after this. I was so excited after Endgame, and I felt like we were really going to get a great Asgardians of the Galaxy story, okay? There's a comic book as Guardians of the Galaxy. I was very excited to see Thor teamed up with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and we really didn't get much of that. Now, whether that has to do with what happened with James Gunn and Volume 3 getting messed around, like, was Volume 3 really supposed to be before that? Was Thor supposed to be involved? I don't know. I don't think so. But I wonder if something was missing there because we get about 20 minutes of the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's entertaining. It's fun. I like seeing them go into battle. Although, really, they don't do much of anything. It's Thor who does stuff. My favorite part about that is when Thor just clearly has a massive crush on Peter Quill, at least a man crush, a bromance, something going on there. Really enjoyed those moments between the two of them, Chris Pratt and Chris Hemsworth. So that is where this ranks in my ranking of Guardians of the Galaxy appearances in the MCU. So then we have Volume 2, which I really, really liked Volume 2. I know a lot of people didn't, but I did. I loved Ego. I loved that twist. You know, whenever somebody takes something and changes it up from the comic books in a way that works for me, I really enjoy it because knowing the comics so well, it's kind of frustrating sometimes when you go in and you're like, oh, this is going to play out exactly like this and I know exactly what happens. Which that's something that Marvel has always been really good at doing, is switching things up in the MCU to the point where I don't know what's going to happen and I'm here for it, and I like that a lot. And I liked Volume 2. I thought the humor was fun. There's so many moments I enjoyed, and of course I really loved the stuff with Peter and his father Yondu, and his father Ego, his fathers, I guess, right? It's why I put him like this on my arm, okay? You know, I've got Yondu and I've got Ego right behind him because they're both really important to Peter's life, one way or another. And I thoroughly enjoyed these moments. So that is where that ranks for me. Next is the holiday special. I loved the holiday special. I love Drax and Mantis together. They're so fun. They're so funny. This really gave Mantis her moment to shine, and it also gave Drax his time to shine. The inclusion of Kevin Bacon was hilarious. I liked seeing everyone kind of build nowhere, which leads into Volume 3. There are just a lot of great, sweet moments in this, hilarious moments. I mean, literally every time I see a candy cane, I laugh, thinking about how Mantis thinks it's a funny striped man, and then elves, you know, that's the funny little man from Drax. It's entertaining, and it's something I will never forget. I had a great time with it. It's probably something I'm going to watch every holiday season. It's going to be on that list of things I sit down and watch whenever we hit December. Next is Infinity War. There are some great Guardians of the Galaxy moments in Infinity War, of course. I mean, we needed to, right? You have Gamora's tie into Thanos. This just had to happen. And I was really, really excited to get these moments with the Guardians. I felt like they were an important part of the story. And then similarly, you guys know what I'm trying to say. Similarly, anyways, along the same lines, Endgame, which is next for me, we had some great moments as well. It wasn't as, heart-wrenching as the end of Infinity War, when pretty much everyone disappeared. Of course, we had Gamora dying in Infinity War, but Endgame, I really, truly enjoyed just everything coming together. Again, we got some really great Rocket moments, and I think that's what I loved about this most. Especially, we got some great Rocket and Nebula moments. And I went back and forth between these two, and like any given Sunday, this is one of those things where sometimes I'll rank Infinity War above Endgame and vice versa. I have a very hard time with these two. They're two of the best films ever made. So just back and forth. I kind of stick those. Let's lump those together right there. So Infinity War / Endgame. And then moving on is, and this was so difficult for me, guys. It took 2 watches of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 to come up and decide this. But I'm going to put, and it is very close, but I'm going to put Volume 1 as next. It's a near perfect beginning. Perfect, really. I immediately was thrilled with what I had seen from these characters I loved in the comics being brought to the screen. The music ties in perfectly. It's beautiful to watch. It's funny, but there's emotion. I mean, James Gunn knows how to do a movie, especially in my style, right? I love the way he puts together films. I think he's absolutely brilliant. He's so smart. And so movies just play out, his movies play out exactly how I want them to. And I love the first Guardians of the Galaxy. It's probably one of my favorite movies of all time. It is one of my favorite movies of all time. However, I have to rank Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 above it, okay? Now this is, don't worry, no spoilers, but the reason it just really ties the trilogy together so perfectly, and it feels like there's so many payoffs from all along the line, right? From so many things that we've loved about the first 2 films and about the Guardians of the Galaxy just throughout the entire MCU. I mean, talking about like the holiday special, and it just feels like this is the perfect send-off. This is the perfect completion of James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy. And so I have to rank it as number 1. All right, guys, I'm excited for you to tell me your ranking of Guardians of the Galaxy appearances in the MCU down below in the comments. I know the movie doesn't come out until this Thursday night, technically, but also Friday the 5th. So, feel free to give me your ranking, not including Volume 3, and come back later and tell me Volume 3, or wait and come back and tell me your ranking then. But I'd love to know. Be sure to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. Follow me over on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and check me out at MamasGeeky.com. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time.